Carlton and Marla stared at each other, gasping as if they run miles. Was that Freddy? She whispered. He shook his head. I don't know, but he was different, Carlton said. What? Different from what? The other animatronics we've seen so far. He was looking at me, Carlton said uncomfortably. They're all looking at us. No, he was looking at me. I can hear you. Come out. Freddy called out as if on cue. His voice echoed through the maze of mirrors, as impossible to locate as it has before. Colton took a deep, steadying breath. How are we supposed to get out of here? He whispered, trying to sound calmer than he felt. Where we even are? There, that light. Marla pointed over their heads at the rafters above them. There were red stage lights beaming down over the entirety of the maze. What? I saw that light when we first came in, but it must have been at least 20 feet away. Now it's right over our heads. We just have to keep moving away from it now, she said confidently. Carlton studied the ceiling for a moment, considering what she said. I told you, I'm good at mazes, she winked. We just have to wait for the right panels to open. She pointed toward a specific panel. That took it. That would take ages, Carlson said despairingly. It will take longer if we don't keep track of what directions we are going in. Marla said, Come on. She set off down the path she had indicated, and Carlton followed close behind her. I'm getting closer. Freddy's voice resounded through the maze. That sounded like it was just behind us. He's coming around, Carlton whispered. Okay. Then we'll go around too. Just let us out, he said quietly. Marla nodded, and they walked cautiously onward, flanked by their various distorted duplicates. They pivoted panels, forced them nearly in a circle before giving them a chance of direction, and Marla leaped on the chance, grabbing Carlton by the hand and almost running down the passage until they were stopped again and made to turn. Shh, Carlton hissed frantically. Marla pushed experimentally at each side of the panels, but it didn't budge. Carlton stepped up to help, throwing his full weight against the mirror, but even under their combined force, it would not turn. I don't know why I thought that would work, Molly whispered. I've almost got you, Freddy intoned. Marla looked around uncertainly. I've got a really terrible idea, Carlton said slowly. Marla gave him a warning look. Are you still keeping track of where we are, or at least the direction of what we should go? I think so, she said, scanning the rafters again, a look of comprehension dawning on her face. Close enough, he said. What are you going to do? Marla asked, sounding like she already regretted it. Carlton took the flashlight out of his pocket and made a fist around it and went up his arm and smashed the button of the light into the mirror in front of it. The glass shattered in a high, clear sound, and a noise pain reverberated up his arm. I can hear you in there. Frey's voice sputtered from all around them. Does he say that, or did he actually hear that? Marla said. The panel of the broken mirror swung open, but before they could move, there was a rushing sound of heavy footsteps and crushing glass shards. Colton held his breath and nodded to Marla. Freddy stepped into the room with forceful steps, then immediately stopped into the corner, his upper body slowly trying to scan the surroundings. Colton and Marla crept around the glass shards and snuck through the open panel behind the animatronic. In the corridor, Colton looked questioningly at Marla and she pointed. He nodded, strode into the furthest mirror and smashed it. In an instant, Freddy pivoted toward them, the wide-eyed face turning from side to side. After a moment, another panel began to open behind the freshly broken mirror. Carlton and Marla ran for it, the glass broken beneath their feet. There, Marla yelled. Carlton looked up and could see the exit sign above a door, just a few yards from where they stood. Marla cut Carlton's eye and mouth. We're almost there. Come back here, said Freddy's maniacal voice, and then they all stepped into the last passage. A gentle painted ticket booth was visible, and beyond that, an open wall. Marla and Carlton exchanged a glance and cautiously sped up. Got you, Freddy said. The speaker was right behind Carlton's head, and Carlton startled, tripping over his own feet. He righted himself with a palm in the mirror, then took off after Marla and ran straight into his own reflection, hitting his face on the glass. Marla, wait, he screamed. He could see her reflection in three mirrors, but was still unsure of where she had actually gone. Wait, he rubbed his forehead and looked into the nearest mirror, trying to see if he was bleeding. He was not, but something was wrong. It took him a second to realize that his earpiece had been knocked loose. He looked around in panic, then suddenly Freddy loomed behind him in the mirror. Carlton froze in place. The massive white and purple bear's head was staring at him from the mirror, looming over his shoulder. He looked down and saw the earpiece at his feet. In one swift motion, he leaned to grab it. His hands were shaking, and he struggled to put it back in his ear. When he looked up, Freddy was standing over him, and Carlton was lifted on his feet with a sudden painful force. Carlton jerked and dropped to the ground, the earpiece falling beside him. Freddy drew back and stared at Carlton for a moment, his eyes clicking back and forth, and his mouth opened just enough to reveal two long rows of perfectly polished white teeth. Carlton leaped forward, the earpiece on the ground just as Freddy's arm shot out and shattered another glass panel. Carlton hit the wall head first with a bang and wriggled in pain. Freddy turned his head first from side to side, then all the way around to face backward, his eyes searching wildly. Carlton scanned the room in a panic and saw the earpiece again, but it was in three pieces, in three mirrors. The glass crunched again nearby, but Carlton kept his eyes on the earpieces, switching from one to another in a desperate attempt to see which one was real. Suddenly, a human hand reached down and grabbed the earpiece in each of the three panels. Carlton, Marla called, and he turned around the sound and saw her, not a reflection but the real Marla as she threw the earpiece to him. Carlton snatched the earpiece out of the air and shoved it in his ear. Freddy stopped in place, his arms still outstretched. Carlton didn't dare to move, though the microphone was inches from his face. In his peripheral vision, he could see Marla inching toward a door with exit over it. Freddy turned his head from side to side again as he slowly straightened from his attacking posture. "I'll find you," came the voice from his chest, and he lowered his arms. Marla turned the doorknob and pushed the door slowly open, just enough to see what was unlocked. Scarcely breathing, Carlton backed away from Freddy, keeping his eyes on the animatronic until he was beside Marla. In one fluid motion, she eased open the door. They darted through it, then shoved it closely behind them. There was a dead ball near the top, and Carlton flipped it, put his ear to the crack. There was nothing but silence from the other side. And he turned to Marla and heaved a sigh, lightheaded with relief. They were in a dark hall, completely free of mirrors. Dark, scary hallway. Marla muttered. "It's beautiful," Carlton said. A scream ripped through the air from somewhere nearby, and they both froze. "Not finished yet," Carlton said, and they took off running toward the sound. Marla closed at his heels.